All right, everybody. Let's talk about whatever the hell the Chicago Bulls are doing. It probably shouldn't be hard for you to tell that I am a Bulls fan if I haven't made it incredibly clear on this channel. I have that DeMar DeRozan jersey in the back. I'm actually blocking it in frame right now. DeMar DeRozan jersey, Chicago Bulls beanie. I'm a big Bulls fan. I have been since the Derrick Rose era. And, I, like many Bulls fans, was very curious what the Bulls were going to do this offseason. And now that we are about 3 days into free agency, I think I'm ready to say I'm not very sure what the Chicago Bulls are doing. So let's talk about what the problems with the Bulls were in the first place. Here's what wasn't working last season. We couldn't shoot the three ball for the life of us. We were bottom 2 in 3-point percentage in the league. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we were also bottom 3 or probably also bottom 2 in attempts. If not bottom, we might have actually been the worst team in the league. We don't shoot the 3-point ball well. Zach LaVine struggled a bit more than we expected. DeMar DeRozan has never been known for that. Nikola Vucevic isn't the shooter he once was. We just don't have a lot of good shooters. And that was something that we had known since the 2021-2022 season. And we didn't address it this season. We didn't address it last offseason. That's something that still isn't working about this team. We also don't play make. We don't create shots very well. We are bottom 10 in assists per game. And we're just lacking like a true point guard or a true shot creator. I don't want to take a guess at what the highest assist number is on our team. But if I'm not wrong, I think it's Zach and it's not high. I'm going to actually look. So actually the highest is DeMar DeRozan, who's still, it's 5 and Zach's right there. Vucevic is our 4th highest assist maker. We don't pass the ball well. We don't move the ball, and it's one of our worst things. And we're missing a real 4. I love Javonte Green. I love Derrick Jones Jr. DeMar DeRozan played a third of his minutes at the power forward position this year. We are not big enough as a team, and I know that we have 2 pretty good big men in terms of height, in terms of rebounding. This team needs a real power forward. If just even one, we need some size. So that's what the Bulls' problems are. We're missing a real 4. We are missing a playmaker, and we can't shoot the 3-pointer. So how did we turn around and address this? We re-signed Vooch to a 3-year, $60 million deal. I actually don't hate this, even if we were going to not run it back. I think this is a really movable contract. I'm not as anti-Vooch as every Bulls fan. I don't love how he's played the past 2 years, but he seems like a good locker room presence. This is a pretty affordable deal. It's a very movable deal is what's most important to me. This contract could be traded like nothing, and I think there are teams who will look at what Vooch offers, teams that need a big man, and they'll be like, yeah, I can take on that $20 million. I'll take it right now. I don't think they need it. I'm just going to say it, though. If the Mavericks are willing to take on Christian Wood, I don't think there's any reason they wouldn't be willing to take on Nikola Vucevic, and that's just the first team I could think of. The second deal, this one I actually love. We re-signed Coby White to a 3-year, $40 million deal. Now, if you haven't been watching the Bulls, you probably haven't noticed. Coby White has had one hell of a redemption season, or one hell of a second half of a redemption season. He was shooting, I think, above 40% for the second half of the year. At least, this is from 3. At least for the past 2 seasons, he's been shooting 38% from 3, which is something. We need that. He's also just doing what needs to be done. He's in the right places at the right time, and he's essentially making it possible for Billy Donovan to not give him minutes. So I think this is a steal of a contract. He's 23, he's young, and he's talented right now with still a decent bit of upside. I love this deal, and it's not even a guaranteed $40 million. It's like $33 million with incentives up to $40 million. Even if it was guaranteed $40 million, I think this is a steal. I love this deal for Chicago. This is the main thing we've done this offseason where I was like, this needs to be done. Other than re-signing Io, we need to get that done. And then the final deal, we signed Jevon Carter to a 3-year, $20 million deal. Which, do I love it? No. Do I hate it? Not at all. This is actually a really good deal, if you think about it. The contract is an incredible steal for Jevon Carter. I've heard people throw around, they thought he was going to get like an MLE. I think it was the Bulls Central YouTube channel said, there's no way I thought Jevon was getting less than the MLE, which is like, if you aren't aware, The MLE is roughly $12 or $13 million. I think that's a little bit much, but I wouldn't have been surprised. I was thinking he was eyeing more of like a 3-year, $30 million return to the Bucks. But 3 years, $20 million is a really good deal for Jevon Carter. All right, sorry, I just double checked. He shot 42% from three, or like 40%. It's funny how I say double checked. I'm not sure. Yeah, he shot 42% from three. And we need that. He didn't shoot a lot of attempts. He shot like 4 attempts a game. He also wasn't playing a lot of minutes, so it's low volume, I guess. But he's proven to be a good shooter, and that's something we could use. So here's what I think our lineup is going to look like next year. We're probably going to start Jevon, Caruso. Hopefully we re-sign Ayo. Ayo and Javonte Green are both not on guaranteed contracts. Ayo's a restricted free agent with a qualifying offer. And he didn't have the greatest sophomore season, I'll admit. As the world's probably number one Ayo Dosunmu fan, he could have played better. But I really don't think the Bulls are just going to let him walk, especially after how good he looked in his rookie season. And I hate to say it, there's maybe not really that big of a market for him, so I don't think the Bulls are going to have to fight for him. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. But Jevon, Caruso, Ayo at the point guard, Zach and Kobe running the 2, DeRozan and Dalen Terry getting the main 3 minutes, and Patrick Javonte if he stays, and then Derrick Jones Jr. and Vooch and Drummond at the center. That's roughly what our lineup looks like right now. And so yeah, a starting lineup of Jevon, Zach, DeRozan, Patrick, and Vooch does not move me. I'm just going to be completely honest. It does not move me. When I look at this roster, I do not see a contender. I don't see anything better than what we did last year. And so let's talk about why. Let's talk about what I think actually should be done, which is very easy. Just blow it up. Let's just blow it up. Let's cash in while still possible. Zach is still a pretty valuable asset, even despite a rough season, or a rough beginning to the season. And DeRozan isn't the biggest asset on earth, but there's options. I think we have a young core in place that could be pretty good. I think Patrick Williams, I'd love to see what he can do with the ball in his hands a lot. Dalen Terry, I am high on Dalen Terry, man. And it's not just because he went to the U of A. He shows some heart out there, man. He plays some defense that no other player on the Bulls will do. And he just tries. He just wants to be out there more than anybody else. And Ayo Dosunmu, like I said, he's coming off a rough sophomore season. People should not forget how good he looked in that rookie season. Sophomore slump is a thing, and I understand. But I see the Drew Holiday comparison still. I could see Ayo being, maybe not to that extent, but if he could be like a consistent, like 15 to 20 point scorer, even like, that might even be, no, I think 15 to 20 point scorer is pretty fair ask, with pretty decent shooting and the great defense that he's playing. I think he's gonna have a long career in this league, and I would love for him to be our point guard of the future. And then Kobe White, I didn't write him down, but he is still 23. That guy could stay. So what do you do if you blow it up? You trade Zach and you trade DeMar. I'm also pro trading Vooch. I also don't hate the idea of keeping Vooch or keeping him on for a little bit longer. I think he's, like I said, I think he's a pretty good locker room presence. And I think that having a veteran among these young guys is going to be good. But he is also a really movable contract. So I think you can be patient too, is mainly what I'm looking for. If he's by himself there with mainly young guys on that contract, I think he's just going to grow his value. And I think he's somebody that maybe you could wait to trade him. On the other hand, I don't think you wait to trade DeMar DeRozan. I also don't think, and by that I mean, like, don't wait to see if you get a star level package, something good. I'm kind of willing to, as big as a DeMar DeRozan fan as I am, clearly, I'm kind of willing to bite the bullet here and say this was a failed experiment, or that it isn't the right fit, and just accept that we're going to lose out on this DeMar DeRozan trade. The fallacy of sunk costs to hold on to him. I don't believe in that. I think there are teams who might be interested in DeMar. I think that's what especially makes it hard. What contending teams are looking at DeMar? This is a contending team, but I heard the Oklahoma City Thunder thrown around by some Bulls fans. I really don't see that. There's been like Brooklyn Nets trade packages. The teams that I could see being most interested are both the LA teams. I think the Lakers like DeMar. I think considering the offseason they just had, to be really dumb for them to do it, and I don't think they do anymore. Maybe if this James Harden stuff doesn't work out with the Clippers, it could still be interested in DeMar. And if not, there are teams like contending level teams, or even teams that think they're contending level, but are just playoff teams, that'll give you something in return. That will take on that last year of the contract. And like I said, I'm okay with just kind of accepting our losses here. If you can get something, let's do it. If not, okay, it's fine, I guess. But Zach LaVine, that's the one where I'm like, this is still a real possibility that we could get a lot out of this. So are the Bulls, as far as I'm aware, the Bulls are asking for, let's switch it up real quick, a good young player, multiple first round picks, and a salary filler. That's what they want if they're gonna get, if they're gonna finally get rid of Zach LaVine. And I think that's fair. I think multiple first round picks might be a lot, especially paired with a good young player. If we're talking like 2, maybe 3, I could see it happening. But I think there are teams that'd be interested. The Knicks have been incredibly tied to Zach LaVine, and although they did just spend a decent amount of money, I would not be surprised if the opportunity presented itself that they went after it. I don't know what that deal looks like. Maybe it's RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier, and a pick. That's what I would like. But maybe they also don't give up RJ Barrett, and I wouldn't blame them if they didn't give up RJ Barrett. I just personally think that's maybe one of the better assets we could get back in a Zach LaVine trade. There's the Golden State Warriors. I think the Warriors are a team I've heard thrown around be interested. The Miami Heat would be interested. There are teams that would be interested in Zach. So I think now is a good time to cash out too, because I think the star market's pretty dry. It's mainly James Harden right now, and of course, well, Damian Lillard. But I think the teams that can trade for Damian Lillard, the teams that can't trade for Damian Lillard are probably gonna look at Zach afterwards. So like the Portland Trail Blazers, this is not related. I don't think the Miami Heat deal is gonna happen. I don't think Damian Lillard's a Blazer, but I think there's a world where Zach LaVine is a Miami Heat. I think there's a world where the Heat look at the fact that they couldn't get Damian Lillard and they say, okay, well, Zach LaVine's a player in that mode, a reliable scorer who can shoot pretty well. He would fit similar role. Of course, I'm not saying Zach LaVine's as good as Damian Lillard, or the Heat would be just as good with Zach as they would be with Damian Lillard, but he fits what they're looking for. And I don't know, I could see it. I would like that. Personally, for Zach, as a Zach LaVine fan, I think it'd be cool. I also think there's assets they could give us that we would be interested in. There's the main deal would probably be Tyler Hero. I'm not the world's biggest Tyler Hero fan, but whatever. That's an easily tradable contract, because I think, well, not easily, but I think there's teams that will be interested in Tyler Hero, so I think that is a tradable contract. I think he's a movable player. I just don't like, if you're blowing it up and you're trading for Tyler Hero, that's a lot of shots he's going to be taking from Patrick Williams, Dalen Terry, Ayo, Kobe White, and I rather those guys get the shots, if I'm being honest. Not saying any of them or all of them are better than Tyler Hero. I just personally think if we're going to commit to a rebuild, Hero should not be the piece. We should see what these other guys can do first. But yeah, there are some reasonable Zach LaVine trades out there. And let's talk about the more realistic, if not scenario. What can the Bulls do? These are some pretty crazy out there names, but these are the guys still available that I like. PJ Washington fits exactly what I was saying. He's a 4. He can also shoot pretty well. This is like a really hard one. He was only making $5 million last year, but I doubt that it stays that low. He's probably going to be looking for a pay upgrade. Charlotte might be willing to do that, and if Charlotte isn't, another team will. Chicago can offer him, I think, $7 million in the first year, and we can make it an ascending contract so he makes more in the future. But I just could, as much as I want it to happen, I don't think it's very realistic. Malik Beasley's another name I saw, and I thought would be interesting because his contract was pretty big, and he didn't play that great, which means that's usually when a player's looking for a smaller contract, looking for like a prove themselves opportunity. We need a shooter. I understand he is a guard height. Let me double check to make sure. Even though he's a guard height, yeah, like I just checked, and we don't need more guards. Like I said, he's a shooter, and if we're gonna stick with what we have, let's get another shooter. Let's make it work. We're already shifting DeMar DeRozan up to the 4, Zach LaVine to the 3 sometimes, Caruso to the 3. Let's just why not? And then Mo Bamba's a name I really like. The Andre Drummond re-signing was interesting to me. I didn't think it was going to happen. I don't hate it, but I would like the idea of more Mo Bamba a lot more, because I think he provides ideally something similar, and he's a lot younger with a lot of upside. I was one of those Bulls fans in 2018, 2017, whatever draft class Mo Bamba was in. I was one of those Bulls fans who was like, let's get Mo Bamba. Like, please let Mo Bamba fall to us at 7. All right, that's 2018. That was the Wendell year. Yep. But he didn't, and he also hasn't had as great of a career as you're hoping. He hasn't had a better career than Wendell even. He's not a better player than Wendell. But there's still a lot of upside there, and it's a pretty, from all I could tell, it'd be a pretty like a low-risk, high-reward type deal. He solves the height problem a bit. I don't know. When I look at this, like, people who are still available, like, at the money we have in our roster, like, when I go back a slide, I'm not very optimistic about it. It doesn't spark a lot of joy out of me or a lot of optimism. So, I don't know. What do you think the Chicago Bulls should do? We're in a tough situation. Arturas, please, man. We won't, as much as fans hate rebuilds, I won't be mad at you, and I know a bunch of Bulls fans that won't be mad at you if we just let's try it again and see what these young guys can do. But as always, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and comment down below what you think the Chicago Bulls should do, or maybe what you think, like, maybe if you think the Bulls are going to have a good season next season. Talk to me about it. Tell me what you think about the Bulls situation in general. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys soon.